What's up everyone, I'm Mech and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to showcase to you the Xone 96. Ta-da! Look at it. It's a beautiful mixer to behold in my opinion, and I can't wait to show you how it sounds and what it can do, because it has a couple of very cool features. So in this video I'm going to show you the insane amount of connectivity this mixer has, how the filters sound, what the send returns can do, and why a 4-band EQ is so useful, and all the other stuff. So let's just dive right into it. So the first thing that is noticeable is how much room there is on the front panel. Each knob has plenty of space around it. Nothing on this mixer feels cramped, like there's just enough room for your fingers, even if you have very thick fingers. It's all spaced out very well. I like that. On the Xone 92, the send return channel knobs were very close to each other, but on the 96, it's spaced out much better. The mixer is in fact bigger. It's pretty huge, and you can see that by looking at the DB4. The DB4 has a standard DJ mixer size, and the Xone 96 is a lot bigger. It's wider as well as longer. I don't know what the thought process was, but I kind of like it. I mean, this has been the standard size for many, many years, and this just gives you more room for more controls, like a booth EQ, wider spaced send return channel. It just looks way more spacious. And so what that it's bigger. If this is going to be the new standard, I'd be happy to embrace it. So on most mixers like Denon and Pioneer mixers, you have a 3-band EQ with a high, a mid knob and a low knob. On the Xone 96 as well as the 92, we have a 4-band EQ, and that means that we have two separate controls for the low mid and high mid. And this is really nice to have, because when you are running 4 decks, for instance, the frequency range is going to be cramped with a lot of overlapping frequencies. So to have an extra frequency band to control and to make room for other tracks on other channels, that is very welcome. So the way it works is the high mid knob boosts or cuts around 1.1 kilohertz. The low mid knob boosts and cuts around 300 hertz. And it sounds a little bit like this. Let me play a track. Turn off the VFX. It's the low cut. This is the low mid. And high mid. Alright, so as you can hear, you get a lot more control that way. So if I have 2 tracks running, I could cut away the low mid from one track and boost the low mid from the other track, for instance. It's a lot to work with. So let's move over to the send return channels. They have a very cool EQ section as well, and this is a type of EQ section. It's called a parametric EQ. You can find these on studio mixers and live mixers. What that basically means is that I can select the frequency range that the mid knob will cut or boost. So I have the DB4 set up as an FX unit, which is a bit excessive, but it's nice. So I'm gonna send this track to the DB4, and now it enters. Now it comes in on send return 2. And as you can hear, I can use the frequency knob to actually, in a creative kind of manner, I can also cut it, which is really useful when using effects as well. But you can hear that I can use it in a creative way as well. When I cut the mid frequency and then I sweep across the frequency range, we go. So that is really useful to really zone in on a frequency and cut it or boost it. And you can use it creatively as well. The filters are a trademark for the Xone DJ mixers because they are fully analog, multi-mode filters and sound amazing. And on a 96, they added a crunch knob, which is a really cool name, I think. It's kind of an overdrive, but it's a lot more. It's way more crunchy. So hence the name. It has a resonance knob that goes from mild to wild, and on mild it is really mild, and on wild it just is short of self-oscillating. The filter doesn't self-oscillate, so that's a good thing. That you don't want that as a DJ, but it's pretty wild. Of course, we have high-pass filter, a bandpass filter, and low-pass filter, and you can combine them as well for other types of filters. I'll let you hear how that sounds. So I'm going to do a couple of filter sweeps on different settings, as well as using the crunch knob and the different filters. So here we go. That crunch, I really like it. You can completely destroy your signal by turning it all the way up. That's a bit excessive, but having it on like 4 or 5, depending on how loud the signal is coming in the mixer. Gives that really nice crunchy, I don't know, it's really cool. I love the addition of that knob. So let's move over to the bandpass filter. And the high-pass filter. Very nice. So with the high-pass filter, when set to wild, you get this very big bass boost. So watch out with that. What I normally do is when I play something and I turn on the filter and it's set to low, I will start on middle and cut the frequencies and then go set it to wild when I turn the frequency up and turn it back down when I enter the bass frequencies again. There you go. There's one really cool thing, they added to the 96, and that is when you activate the filter, it will search the nearest zero cross point on the waveform, so that you never hear a click. It takes like a fraction of a millisecond, so you won't hear the delay at all. You can always turn this filter on without any click, so that's a really big improvement compared to the 92. So let's move on to combining some of the filters. As you can hear, this is just a high-pass filter with the bandpass filter, and it gives back a little bit of the lower frequencies. that is the filter, and we have 2 of them, which is incredible. And for each channel I can select which filter to use. For this return channel I use the DB4 as an effects unit, and when I've sent this to the second filter and I set it to low pass, and here what I can do with it. So let's set this to high pass. So I'm gonna cut away, gonna build a break. I'm gonna send this channel to the DB4 and we'll come back to on the return channel. And now I can filter this signal without affecting the dry signal. There we go. Let's do it again and play with the dry signal filter as well. So that is why having 2 of these analog filters is awesome. So here's an overview of the many inputs of the Xone 96. And I'm gonna just say out straight away that if you are a club owner, this is a really nice mixer to have on board, because you can just put it in the booth, have all the DJs of the evening connect to it, and you basically should not, or almost should not, have to reroute anything, plug out cables and plug in everything. So that will take care of a smooth transition between DJ sets and live sets, everything. Let's start with, well, the obvious is that we have 2 sound cards on the Xone 96. Not just 1, no, 2. And these are high-grade, high-quality sound cards. The first time I used it as a sound card, I was pretty stunned because I could lower the buffer range to 8 samples. And I've never had an audio interface that goes that low. I don't know, they're probably out there, RME probably have them, but to have that in the DJ mixer and not 1 but 2 of them with an 8 sample buffer range is incredible. So what you can do with that is you can do a back-to-back with another friend of yours that also DJs with a Tractor DJ, for instance. So you can have 2 laptops connected to 96. Maybe you have an evening where 2 people play with laptops. So that way you can have the laptops ready to go. You don't have to plug out and plug in anything. Also, while we're on the subject of back-to-back sets, we have 2 separate headphone cues. So here we have the normal headphone cue with the cue and master knob and volume setting, of course, split EQ and post EQ setting. And here we have a second cue section for a second set of headphones. Also with a cue selection knob. This one doesn't use the cue buttons to cue what you hear on the headphone. This uses this selection knob. So if you play back to back, you don't have to exchange headphones. Either one can have their own headphone, which is very cool. Okay, let's move on. Of course, we have 4 audio channels, which we can set to USB 1 and USB 2 to line input and phone. We have 2 return channels, which we can use as send return, which I have now here on the DB4. The DB4 is an FX unit that comes back into the return 2 channel, and I can send it via these knobs. And as you can see, I can also send the return back into the DB4. Don't do that because it will create a feedback loop, but you can do some cool stuff with that. For instance, with delays and a filter delay, for instance, you can do some pretty cool stuff. So on the return channel A, I've actually now set up my microphone, as you can see, which I can now boost EQ. There goes my voice. Yeah, that sounds really cool, by the way. So these are the return channels with some effects. You can also use these as normal audio input via USB, or just use the return A input as a normal line in, for instance. round things up, we have a booth section with its own high, mid and low frequency knobs. Very, very nice, because how many times have you DJed in a club or somewhere else where the monitor was just so piercingly high that you could feel your eardrums kind of burning away? I've had that multiple times in my life. Luckily, I use earplugs, but still. It's nice to be able to control the frequency of the booth monitor as well. Maybe it's a very small monitor and you want to hear more low, just boost the hell out of it to get some more low frequencies in there. Of course, we have the fader is an Inno fader, which is the industry standard. So if you're a scratch DJ, you'll be fine. This is it doesn't get any better than that. The feel of the faders are really durable. It's like really smooth. I don't know. You just want to do this all day. It feels really nice. And everything on the mixer just feels really sturdy, and this is gonna last another 15 years like the 92 did. I'm sure this is going to be a new standard. I think, in my opinion, it will take a couple of years before it's going to be the real new standard. It just got released like August 2018, I think. So it will take some time for the industry to adapt to it. But this is just, it's next level 92. I'm a live performer, so that's why I have the DB4. I think this is the perfect mixer for live performance. And as a DJ, this would be my mixer of choice. Definitely.